Camera is officially rolling. So act like my little boys and girls, not like you act. You have to put on a good show. Keep this quiet classroom, okay? All right, your notebook should be open. At the top, it should either say lesson point 1.3, or it should, oh gosh, I love the highlighting, it's so good. Or it could say lesson 1.3 part 2. Or if you prefer to just continue what you were doing taking notes yesterday, that's totally fine. 1.3 continued is great. I want to see everybody with a pencil in their hand, notebook out, and Mr. Carmine. Okay, notebook in your hand is not what I asked for. A pencil in your hand, notebook out, with 1.3 at the top. We're about a month into school and we're still taking time to get ready for this. This is not what we're starting with. Unfreeze. There we go. Yesterday, we talked about rewriting formulas. Does anybody remember the 2 formulas that we rewrote to make?
I got this.
Yeah. I said to you, remember.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, he's like, yeah. Okay. You can check your notes, that's fine. What 2 formulas?
D equals RT,
Yeah.
I equals PRT.
Very good. So we're talking about the distance formula, right? And then what was the other formula called?
The...
What does capital I stand for?
The interest.
Interest, the simple interest formula. Yes. Okay, well that was good. Can you lock it for me? Yes.
Doesn't P interest rate?
P is principal. Yes.
R is interest
It, yeah. No, yes, R is interest rate. Very good. Okay, so you guys remember those 2 formulas, right?
Yeah.
We're going to be working with a few new formulas today. You don't necessarily have to have them memorized. We're just going to be working with them, okay? The whole point of this lesson is to rewrite the formula while it still has the variables involved. And then we plug in our values and just solve it. We take care of the algebra first, then we just solve the numbers, okay? Remember? All right, so a worker at a framing store is making a rectangular frame. Keyword, right? Rectangular frame. He knows that the perimeter of the frame is 144 inches. That sounds like important information too. 144 inches is the what?
Perimeter.
Perimeter. And the length is 40 inches. That sounds important too. 40 inches is the length. How can he determine the width of the frame? Why don't I see a number with the width? I see a number for perimeter, I see a number for length. Where's the number for width?
We don't know.
We don't know it. It is the unknown, so I'll put my little question mark here. Now, remember back in like 4th grade when you learned about perimeter? And your teacher probably said, let's say you want to build a fence around this rectangular yard or something.
Yeah, I did.
And you learned that, that to find perimeter, you simply, don't worry about the formula, don't look at it. To find the perimeter, you simply add what?
The size.
All the sides. So for any polygon, right? Pentagon, triangle, rectangle, you just add up all the sides, right? Now, because a rectangle is a very special polygon with 2 pairs of parallel sides and 4 right angles, it has pairs of sides that are equal to each other, right? Like the length on this side is equal to the length on this side.
I'm sorry, what? How did
So we're just-
polygons come into being?
Well, a rectangle is a polygon, and what I was saying was you can find the perimeter of any polygon, right? A multi-sided figure, by just adding up all the sides, right?
Yeah.
So, but that doesn't really sound like a formula, right? Like the formula for perimeter is P equals add up all the sides, right? So let's talk about a formula that we can write specifically for the perimeter of a rectangle. You don't want to just say, well, add up all the sides, because the sides are very special. This pair of sides has equal value. And this pair of sides has equal value. So instead of saying to find the perimeter, you just add the length plus the length plus the width plus the width. We can consolidate that a little bit.
80.
What?
80 for me.
Oh, no. We're not plugging in any numbers yet. We are simply writing the formula. Yes.
Equals 2L.
Yes. Very good. So perimeter equals how many L's? 2 of them. Because we can just double that L, right? 2 times L plus 2 times W, the width. Raise your hand if you're still confused about how I wrote that.
Okay, so, 2 things.
Yeah.
Why did you write it like that? And,
Okay.
and then the other thing, why is the 2 the L, but then it's also the W? Because
Good.
it's 2 L's.
Yes, because we have to add up all the sides, right? Let me write it like this. Perimeter equals the length of one side plus the length of the second side plus the width. Is that how you spell width? I don't even know. Width of one side
Yeah.
plus the width of the other side, the second side, right? Do you agree that that is what perimeter is? We're adding up all the sides. We've got a length plus the other length plus the width plus the other width, right? Now what we know that's really special about a rectangle is that its opposite sides are equal to each other. So I can consolidate this formula by simply saying, if these are the same, then I can just take one and double it, right? So like, I'll just give you this example here. If we know that this length is 40, I could just say, together they make 80, right? Because this one also has to be 40. I could say it's 2 times this length, right? So L plus L is 2L. Remember these invisible ones? 1L plus 1L is 2L, right? It's the same thing. 1W plus 1. Anytime you see a variable, whether it stands for width or anything, it's, you good? What is it?
Can it go L plus W times 2?
L plus W times 2?
Yeah.
You still need your 2L also. Because you need both L's
Like I'm
and
saying,
both
I'm
W's.
saying put those two together and times it by 2.
Put the L and the W together and times it by 2. The L
I'm
and
not
the
sure you
W
can do that because they
together.
have different variables, right? What? Can you even do that?
No, and that's a really good question. I had to think about that one for a second. And the answer is, listen up, the answer is order of operations. Before we can add the length and the width together, we have to double them first. Okay, that's order of operations. It took me a second to understand what you were asking, but I get it now. Okay, good question. All right, so that is going to be your standard formula for perimeter of a rectangle. And they give it to you. They give it to you right here. I just wanted to explain it, okay? The perimeter formula, here it is. It's gorgeous. No, it's not. It's just a formula. Okay. Now let's go back to the given information. Let's go back to the given information. They give us the perimeter. They give us the length, and they don't give us the width. Then this formula is going to be filled with numbers and variables that are not isolated, right? Which we know how to solve that. This is algebra. We've been learning that so far. But now we're learning that we can also make that formula work for us instead of making us work for that formula. You take a formula and say, I don't work for you, you work for me, okay? I'm going to rewrite you and make you work for me so I can solve this my way, okay? So, this formula is solved for P. This formula is solved for if you know your length and you know your width, then you can multiply them times 2, add them together, and you get your perimeter, right? But we need to solve for W. So let's rewrite it. Let's rewrite it so we can solve for W. what would be the first thing that I would need to do to rewrite this to solve for W? Yes, Gracie?
P equals.
It was just the first thing.
Yeah, P equals like. Right
No, I can't put P equals yet, because I actually need to start solving out.
W equals.
Do you want to try or not yet? Okay, Brianna.
144 equals.
Hold off on the numbers. What we're doing is not plugging anything in yet. We are making this formula work for us so that when we do plug in our numbers, we don't have to solve algebraically anymore. Carmine.
We can, L equals and W equals and deal.
No. But maybe I'm not asking this the right way. Which variable do we want to isolate? The W. Okay, so we do get that. Oh, we want you to get by yourself. I can't just blow the other letters and numbers away. Go away, I don't like you. Go to the other side of the equal sign. They won't go away. Maybe Elsa could come here and like zap them and make them go away. Yes,
You
what?
subtract 2L from that side and you put it to the P.
Good, that's gonna be our first step. Subtract 2L, I'll let you do the next one from yourself. Subtract 2L, and that's definitely on the right track. We have P minus 2L. We're not solving anything yet. We're rewriting, guys, rewriting the formula. P minus 2L equals 2W. Now I just have this really, let me just try this, let's see if this works. It's not working. Go over there. I want W to be by itself, and you're not supposed to be there. It's not working. What should I do?
What in the world?
He was like, all right, crazy lady,
How
bye,
did
bye,
you change it to that?
What?
Mom,
How did you
do
change
it.
Because it wouldn't listen to me when I told it to go away.
Darn.
Well, how is I say this? If it won't listen to you when you yell at it, you actually have to see what's happening. You say, well, I want it. What? Oh, you get it? We cancel out our 2's here, and W is magically by itself. So now our new rewritten formula is W equals P minus 2L over 2. I'm going to write it over here now.
Oh, you dropped something.
W equals,
Why did you divide by 2?
because W is being multiplied by 2, so I had to do the opposite. W equals, oh Faith, you didn't mess with my tripod yet, did you?
No.
Okay, I see a lot of moving
She's
around.
dropped something.
Okay. W equals P minus, I'm just rewriting what I have over here, minus 2L divided by 2. This formula looks even worse than the one we had here, so why do we want it like this? Because why?
You can cancel out that 2.
Oh, that's a really good, you are my order of operations guy today. We actually can't cancel out the 2's because 2 is involved in a subtraction problem. It is involved in multiplication, but it's also involved in subtraction, so you can't overstep the order of operations, okay? Somebody remind me, why, if I had a perfectly good formula, P equals 2L plus 2W, it's a perfectly good formula, why did I rewrite it to make it look so complicated? Yes?
I don't remember. Oh yeah, we want W by itself.
Yes, good. The whole point was to get W by itself. We rewrote the formula. And now I'm going to show you why it's going to be so much easier to solve. W is our isolated variable. Now we can fill in the known values.
We can now convert the letters into their actual values.
Yeah, you just replace your variables with their values. Go ahead, Vincent, tell me what it was.
So we're gonna have to do 144
Yeah?
minus 40. 80.
Well, yeah, don't solve yet, but just I'm rewriting it
Oh,
exactly.
minus
2 times 40. I had somebody in my one of my other classes, yes, you're right, over 2. I had somebody in another class, I was reminding them, I said, don't forget, if 2 is next to L, that means 2 is being multiplied times L. So when we show that with a number, we have to protect that with parentheses. Parentheses are showing
Or
that.
also make it 240.
Right, and somebody said, is it okay if I write the 2 really small and then the 40 next to it, but it's much bigger? And I said no, because you'll only remember that for a second, and then when you go to solve it, you're just gonna forget,
You're
you're
gonna
gonna
see the
think it's
number, don't you?
240, yes.
Can I currently help
So
you?
make sure you put that in parentheses to show your multiplication. Now look, the only variable we have is the answer. It's isolated. So, okay, I'm testing your order of operations. What do we do first, Carmine?
2 times 40.
Good, or negative 2 times 40 would be minus something, or negative 2 times 40 is what? Negative 80, very good. So I have negative 80. Good job, order of operations. That's gone.
Then you divide, right?
No, because we still have subtraction here. So, okay, let me explain that. You're right. He is thinking, but isn't multiplication and division, doesn't it come before subtraction? Here's the little twist. Yes, you can go. Here's the little twist on order of operations. When you're dealing with a fraction, okay, you're dealing with a division bar.
It's always after.
What's that?
I'm saying when it.
Yeah, you have to deal with your operations, your addition and subtraction operations in each individual numerator and denominator before you
Think of
can.
it as like a part two, like as a part two.
Yeah.
Of the problem.
Exactly. So go ahead, Carmine. 144 minus 80 is 64. Divided by 2
I
is
wonder what that is.
Anybody?
I'm 32.
32. Very good.
I was joking.
So the width is 32 inches, right? Yes.
So, right there, why? How did you subtract 2L from P when they're not like?
Yeah, they're not like terms, so I didn't try to combine them in any way. I just, P minus 2L is literally P minus
She was
2L.
writing down our formula.
She just wrote down the formula, and then after that, at the end, you plugged in all the like the actual numbers. Yeah, I got this. I don't have a problem.
You want to do it?
Okay.
Okay.
So this
Yeah.
is what you do, okay? So you see the P, you see the two.
All right.
You see the
You're giving us the crazy crap secret formula.
Okay.
Okay. Now you have. You have to subtract the 2 on both sides, but since you don't have the numbers, then you're writing out the equation. So we write down P equals minus.
Can I take it from here? Hold on one second. I know you're doing so great, but I'll explain it really easily, okay? I didn't move this so that I can combine it with P. I'm not trying to combine it. I moved it so it would go away and just be on this side. Oh, sure, I'm gonna do anything I want. Because as long as I do the same thing to both sides, if I subtract 2L and subtract 2L, this equal sign is true. If I wanted to subtract 80 from this side and then subtract 80 from that side, it's okay. I wouldn't want to because it would make things more complicated, but it wouldn't be wrong as long as it's like a scale. You have to keep the scale balanced. Whatever you do to this side, you do to this side. Why did I do it? Because I wanted it to go bye-bye. I'm trying to get W by itself. So that was my first step to get W by itself. Now I can't actually combine these. I can't be like, well then this is like negative 2PL. I can't do that. I just have P minus 2L. So I just wrote it in a row because that's how we write our algebraic equations. P minus 2L. Then I had my 2W left over here, but W still needed to get isolated, so I divided by 2 on both sides. So the formula is still exactly as it should be. It's just rewritten, and of course I already erased it over there. So, all right, I'm gonna have you guys try one on your own. You can do this. You can do this. Uh-oh, I am not a fan of all the talking. Thank you, Vincent, for starting to work on it. Yes, you can go. Yes.
Ow, I didn't write any of that down.
That's causing a distraction.
Equation.
All right, I'm gonna give you guys some hints, okay? Some hinty hints. I'm also gonna check to make sure that we're still in the right position.
I haven't moved
I'm just checking. Just checking. Okay, we're looking good. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. See?
All right, I'm gonna give you guys some hints. If you don't want hints, go ahead and solve it on your own. Listen, it's the formula for the area of a triangle. It gives you the formula. What is this formula solved for?
Triangle, or the area of a triangle.
Shorten that.
Area.
It's solved for
Height.
area. It is solved for A. What do they want us to solve for?
H.
H.
Height.
So we have A equals 1/2 times BH, which B stands for base and H stands for height. They want us to rewrite, we're not plugging anything in yet. First, rewrite it. Now you're probably thinking, well, how do I get H by itself if it's being multiplied by B and a 1/2? You can't subtract it because watch what's happening, it's being multiplied by these. So what do we do?
Okay, so
Divide it.
basically what you do is you take 1/2 and you multiply it by B. So we'll kind of.
No.
That's what I learned last year.
What, you got it? Okay, what do we do? Let's work one step at a time. It's being multiplied by B and it's being multiplied times 1/2. Let's take care of this ugly little fraction first. How do we undo a fraction that's being multiplied? Yes. Yes, multiplied by the reciprocal. That's really, really good. So, what's the reciprocal of 1/2? 2/1, also known as the whole number. Finish my sentence. Also known as the whole number 2. Thank you very much. I can write it as 2/1 because it's so cute when they're reciprocals. It's like then you just like cancel. But when I do the same thing on this side, do I want to write it as 2/1? No, you just showed that A is being multiplied times 2. You know what that looks like? 2A.
Boom!
Boom! All right, mic drop. Okay, I'm not done. This is gone, but H is still being multiplied times B. So what do we do?
Divide by B.
Divide by B. Now, algebra language, you always have to say on both sides. So we have 2A equals, cancel out our B's, 2A over B equals H. So I'm going to rewrite that over here. H equals 2A over B. Why did we take that and make it look complicated in a different way?
Because you can.
Because I can, and because it's going to help me when I plug in my known values. It says find the height of the triangle because we isolated H. Now we can plug in our values for our area. A is 18, so I can replace this A with 18. So I have the height equals 2 times 18. I'm just putting it in there. Then the base it gives me is 9. So I put over B, which is 9.
Hold on,
And then all you have to do is do the math.
You're
2
right.
times
162.
What? Wait, never mind.
It's okay. She never said anything. 2 times 18, you can do that on your calculator and then divide it by 9, or you can cancel first. Cancel. And you get what?
4.
4. So 4 inches.
I got it.
The height is
What did you
4.
do with inches squared?
What?
It's inches squared, right?
Okay, I love it. Somebody in my last class asked me this, and I am going to explain this, but if you don't totally understand it, that's okay. I did a lot of this kind of thing, yes, you can go, a lot of this kind of teaching in like 6th grade when I was teaching 6th grade math. And when we get to algebra, we kind of skip this step because we acknowledge that it exists and it's true.
It's there to confuse us, right?
Yeah, kind of. Okay, pay attention to this. If it confuses you, forget that I ever said it. But excuse me, I'm talking, you're not, okay? So, he said, but what about all these units that they're saying? He said the area is 18 inches squared, and he's right. And the base is 9 inches. He's right. Check this out. Faith up here, okay? The height is 2 times the area. Okay, well the area is 18 inches squared. Totally correct. Put that over the base, which is 9 inches. Now, how do we figure out inches squared over inches? Huh? What?
Ooh!
You divide.
No.
You are right. Yeah, kind of. What?
Don't you get rid of the exponent?
How?
18 times 18.
No, because this, if it was this, if everything was being squared, it would be 18 times 18, but only the inches is squared. So how do we write inches squared? Not quite. Tell me how I can write. Tell me how I can write inches squared What does inches squared mean?
Inches.
Times, yes, inches times inches. Right? So can I rewrite this inches squared to say inches times inches?
Yes.
Now look what I can do. Inches divided by itself cancels. Can I cancel this inches?
No.
No. So when I multiply and then divide, I get 4 inches.
9 is 17.
That's okay? Don't worry about it. Yes.
Could you divide the 9 by 18?
I canceled. I did 18 divided by 9. How did I just, because everything is multiplication and division, I don't have any more addition and subtraction, so I can just cancel at this point. So I said 18 divided by 9 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4 inches. Yeah.
So if we were just doing like the regular numbers, would we leave the squared out of it? And would we-
Yes.
Well, we
Now
just put the
that
18
we're in
in.
algebra, don't worry about the units.
Nice.
That's something we learned a few years ago, and we kind of accept now that it is going to cancel out and end up with inches. But I like that your brains are trying to kind of make sense of those units. All right. Does anybody like to bake around here?
Yo.
I baked very good cookies. for my grandma
Cookies?
last night.
Oh, really?
And cupcakes.
And you didn't bring me any? Thanks. I really appreciate
I
it.
wasn't allowed to. They had like peanuts and
She's
stuff.
never given you
Here's
candy
a
ever
sweet
again.
They were filled with peanut butter and chocolate.
Oh,
Well,
you're
thanks
making
a
it?
lot.
Oh, thanks.
Well,
Okay,
thank
yeah.
you
Now I
so
want
much.
them even more. Okay.
Like,
You wanna know what I baked?
Real quick, what did you
I
make?
made cake.
Cake? Well, has anybody ever baked bread? Like
I
bread?
make-
Yes.
I make egg toast bacon, that's all I know how to make.
All right. You know how I don't like word problems, right? Well, I actually kind of like this word problem because it's about baking bread. And I just baked bread on Monday, on Labor Day. I baked a challah bread. You know what a challah bread is? It's that, if you go to public do the bakery, that braided bread, it's like golden brown. It is so delicious. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're gonna talk about baking some bread here. See, the only, excuse me. Did I hear a knock?
Yeah, he's right there. He just moved.
Oh, gosh. Okay. All right, let him in, let him in. Okay, listen. Teo runs into a problem when he's baking bread, though. He's got this new recipe that he's working with.
Absolutely.
It says, according to Teo's recipe, he should bake the bread at 190 degrees Celsius. Why am I using that accent?
Because you can.
Because I can't do what I want.
Actually.
Because Celsius is how, because British ovens and lots of ovens that are not American bake in terms of Celsius degrees, not Fahrenheit. So Teo is over here with his American oven doing Fahrenheit, and he's got this little British baking book, and it's telling him to bake it at 190 degrees. Can he set his American oven to 190 degrees Fahrenheit?
Of course you can.
No, he
for it.
cannot. That bread is never going to bake, okay? It's not hot enough. So, he has got to do a little conversion to find out what that would be in Fahrenheit, right? Now, here's a cute little formula, and by cute I mean it's kind of ugly. Here's a little formula for converting Celsius and Fahrenheit degrees. It's complicated, but it works. It's not as easy as just add 50 or like, just guess. You actually need a formula. The recipe says 190 degrees Celsius, but we're trying to find out what Fahrenheit we need. And it's all up in that equation. Can we rewrite it?
Yes.
We sure can. So let's rewrite it over here. We've got C equals 5 over 9, and you know why I'm leaving a space there, right? Because you know I'm going to need that room. Times F minus 32. Why did I leave a space there?
Oh, you're gonna flip it?
Yeah, because I want to multiply that. I am trying to free the Fahrenheit. Free the Fahrenheit. Free the Fahrenheit. Okay? Times 9 over 5.
Cancel it out.
Cancel that out. Multiply this times 9 over 5. Okay, we're getting closer. We have 9 over 5 times Celsius equals Fahrenheit minus 32. We're not done. Still doesn't work. Go away, negative 32. What do we do?
Divide.
No!
Not add.
Add 32.
Arrested.
You need to add.
Yeah, you're right.
Eat it.
Forget that she said anything that first time.
Eat 'em.
Shh, pay attention. Attention, no playing with calculators right now. Notes in your hand. Okay. Now, we have to get used to this. Add 32 to both sides.
Yep.
Okay? So now we have. Now remember, Jacob, I'm not doing this to try to combine anything. I'm not going to try to put these together. I'm just writing it in a row. 9 over 5 times Celsius plus 32 equals good old American Fahrenheit.
Do I have to say that in a country accent?
Okay, so I'm gonna rewrite this over here and then we're gonna start solving. I'm gonna put my Fahrenheit on this side now, it doesn't really matter. Commutative property of equality. So F equals 9 over 5 times Celsius plus 32. This formula is now working for me. I don't work for the formula works for me, okay? Yes, you can go. Now listen, now that we have our formula solved for Fahrenheit, we can take the 190 degrees Celsius and plug it in, right? All right,
That's a
so
big number.
we can do it, we got our calculators. All right,
I don't.
so all we're gonna do is plug it, we just have one variable, guys, we're plugging in 190 degrees, it's right there. So we have Fahrenheit equals 9 over 5 times 190 degrees. And if you want to, you can put it over 1 to make it in fraction form. Okay, I sound like Sharon Osbourne. Okay,
You
so,
sound like a
oh, you guys are too young. Okay, she's an old British lady, married to Ozzy Osbourne.
I know
It's
who
a
you're
whole
talking
thing.
Bro.
Okay,
I don't know
Ozzy Osbourne is.
Okay, so Fahrenheit equals 9 over 5 times 190 over 1 plus 32.
Equals.
All right.
Wait.
I gotta keep going, but it's on video, so we need to pause it and rewind and do all that stuff, okay? And we can talk about it more in intensive math tomorrow, okay? So we have, wait, you're not in my class? Oh, we'll talk about it more another time. Okay, we're going to solve. Somebody do it. 9 times 190 divided by 5.
Yeah.
A big
Nine
number.
times 9, 190. Divided by 5.
Hold on.
9 times 190 divided by 5.
5. Phyllis.
1.2.2.
What?
1.2.2.
No, that's right. 9, thank you. 3,
I don't care.
42.
Wait, is that is 9 over 5 is
We're multiplying this fraction. There are 2 ways to do it. You can do, shh, nobody pack up. I will keep you longer if you start packing up. Don't you dare. 9 times 190, then divide it by 5. Or you can cancel first if you want to do 190 divided by 5, and this would be 38. Then you would do 9 times 38, you'll get 342. Do not pack up. I don't want to hear papers. Plus 32. The Celsius is turning into Fahrenheit right before our very eyes. 342 plus 32 is 374 degrees.
That's a big number.
Yes.
374.
Boom. 374 degrees. Now, does your oven go to 374 degrees? No. It
Mine
does
goes
no.
like
Mine goes 370,
What?
370 or
I gotta guess, so it's
375.
like-
So I would just put it at 375.
Boy, I burned my hand on
Mine goes up to
That's
6.
If anybody
It's
can
a
tell,
big hand, actually.
you do not have to solve this. But if anybody can tell me why this book tells you to do something that doesn't make any sense to do for the problem it's asking you to solve, you can get a piece of candy. The book is wrong. The book is wrong. And I want you to tell me why. Read the problem silently and then tell me why the book, tell me what is wrong with what the book is telling you to do and then telling you to solve.
I think it wants us to catch some steak.
No.
To measure very close.
Wait. The temperature, how it's cold, but it's not.
Nope. You have to read
If
it.
it's 12 degrees Celsius, that's like hot. And Kelvin, that's like cold.
Yeah.
So they're like asking opposite things.
Yeah.
Yes.
You kind of get what I'm saying?
Tell me in
I
terms
think
of
I
the formula that it's giving you.
Oh,
Yes, Steve.
it's like K equals C, but shouldn't it be C equals K?
Yeah,
So,
there's supposed
what-
to be a minus sign instead of a plus sign.
This is a correct formula. This is a correct formula. You guys are all on the right track. This formula is correct if you want to know what your Kelvin is,
We're trying to find Celsius.
right? But then it says, this is the problem, it says, rewrite the formula to solve for C. Then it says, if the temperature was 12 degrees Celsius. Yeah.
It wants us to do that exact thing we did where we flip the equation
Where you
around.
rewrite it, yeah.
Yeah, and then make it yours, and then it wants us to solve it correctly so we can figure out K.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, go ahead,
It'd
Kate.
be 273.15 plus C, but on the other side, so then it'd be ending up with 273.15 plus M equals C.
Okay, guys, real quick, don't leave. Real quick.
Does that count?
Real quick, go ahead. Yes, listen to him, he's got it. Exactly. Do you want?
Oh man, mine didn't even count. I just wasted all my breath on that.
No, you guys